Okay, so if you're thinking about buying land in Belize, there's a few things you'll want to take into consideration. Number one is the location. Number two is the title, what kind of title. And number three is there road access, actual road access, not just proposed road access. So let's get into that. Okay, everyone. So today I just wanted to talk a little bit about buying land and what that process is like. I know a lot of people are interested in this topic. I get a lot of people reaching out saying, what are some things I need to take into consideration when it comes to buying land in Belize? So I thought I'd just cover a few of those main things here today, right? So um, number one is if I can get my computer to work here and go to the next slide. Here we go. Number one is location, right? So where exactly is it? And like anything in real estate, the location is going to determine the value. It's going to determine, well, obviously the price and the value is one thing, but also it matters sort of what you want as the buyer, right? Where exactly do you want to be located on the island? And this is referring to mostly the Keys or the island of Ambergris Key specifically. Belize is a whole country, and this is just referring to the island of Ambergris Key or San Pedro as it's known. So on the island, where exactly is the land? And so you'll look maybe online at different listings and so forth, and you'll see the prices are like all over the board. And the reason for that is because the location is going to determine the price for the most part. Now, anything right on the water, like anywhere, is going to be a higher value of price for the most part, right? So if you're right on the ocean or just a lot or two back, those are going to be your highest priced lots. And then where exactly is it? Is it way up north? Is it in town? Is it over at Secret Beach? Is it on the east side? Is it on the west side? Does it have utilities? All those sorts of things are going to be things that are going to affect the value and make a difference when it comes to the price of the land. So you could look at something and say, oh, that price is very low. But what you might not realize at the time is that it's way far away from anything else, and it'd be difficult to actually do any development there and that sort of thing. Now, it's a small island, and eventually, if you hold on long enough, growth will catch up. But depending on what you want to do and what your plans are, you'll definitely want to take location into consideration because it's going to present different locations are going to present different challenges, right? So obviously the location matters. And when it comes to buying land, just find out where it is. Your agent or whoever you're dealing with should be able to help you understand the location. You can ask them for a map of the area and say, show me exactly where on the map it is. And a lot of times you'll say, oh, can you send me a map? And you'll get this map and it's zoomed like way in and you can't really get a sense of where on the island it is. That's kind of a red flag in my opinion. How come you're not showing me exactly where it is? And so a lot of people will say, oh, it's a good location, or they'll just kind of give you their opinion on it. But it matters as to what you want and where you want to be. And it also matters as to exactly where it is on the island. So that's sort of obviously the first consideration to make is the location. Another consideration is going to be the title to the property. As you would like in the US, I'm from the US. And so if you're buying in the US, you want to make sure that you have what's called a clear and marketable title. This is basically the owner has the rights to sell you a title that's free and clear of encumbrances and liens and any cloud on title, that sort of thing. So you want to make sure you're getting a clean title and that you're getting also the right kind of title. There are two types of title that I'm aware of in Belize, and one is more advantageous than the other. And I don't have any of this written down. I'm kind of just doing this off the cuff, but I'm trying to think. So one is a certificate, excuse me, a land certificate. That's your best sort of most protective type of title is a land certificate. And when you're buying land, you want to get a land certificate. That's going to give you your most protection and your most rights of ownership. The other one is called now that the cameras are rolling, I can't remember what it is. A deed of conveyance. That's the other type of title. I would suggest to stay away from a deed of conveyance. There might be a situation in which you want to buy a deed of conveyance, or that it's okay with you to buy a deed of conveyance. But I would say, in my opinion, 9 times out of 10, don't buy the deed of conveyance. There are some sort of caveats that go along with that that might not give you the full strength of ownership that you would like to have and should have when buying a piece of property. So land certificate is what you want. Deed of conveyance, exercise caution. That's all I'll say about that. Lastly, is road access. And also, I'll talk a little bit about utility access, but for right now, we'll say road access, right? So there's a lot of land on the island of Ambergris Caye that's available that is completely inaccessible. You can't get there. It's swampland, so to speak. There's no road. There's no way to get to it. It's practically underwater in some instances. So you want to be very careful as to what kind of access you have to it. And you'll see sometimes if you're dealing with an agent or somebody who wants to sell you land, they'll send you some information and you'll see like a plot map, and it looks like there's road access to it. But what that is basically just a surveyed road. It's a proposed road access based on a survey plot map. But in reality, there actually is no road cut to it. And so you have to be very careful when buying this type of land, right? So it's one thing if you want to just buy land bank it, and you're not going to do anything with it for 10, 20 years, that's one thing. But if you're planning on building right away, or you want to use it, in a reasonable amount of time, if there's no road access, you'll have to take into consideration the idea of either building a road or building a road. And then if it's real swampy or kind of in a low-lying area, you're going to have to pay for a lot of backfill to come in and that sort of thing. So just be cautious about exactly where it is and what kind of road access it is, right? So location's one thing, we talked about that, but the road access, does it have actual road access to it? That's just another thing to consider. And then the other thing too is utility access. So if you don't know this, basically the east side of the island has electricity. The west side does not. The west side is Secret Beach and this type of area. Secret Beach is obviously becoming very popular, but one of the things that has to be done at Secret Beach for anyone who's building a home or having a business is you have to take into consideration the cost of a solar system or some kind of generator system, because there's no actual electrical utilities going to that area yet. And it's proposed that in the future it will, but as of right now, it's all off grid, so to speak. You'll have to get solar or some kind of alternative power. On the east side, generally, there's going to be electricity, or basically all the way up north, all the way south, there's electricity. So depending on what you want to do and what kind of setup you'd like to have, just take that into consideration. So if you're buying at Secret Beach, that's all off grid. If you're buying on the East Coast, you'll probably have access to some kind of electricity. So that's that. I just wanted to give everyone a few pointers on buying land. If you have any other questions, you can always reach out to me, secretbeachhomes.com, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions you have one-on-one. Okay, good luck.